know that the impact speed of a soccer ball being headed by a soccer player is 70 miles per hour?
No, but female athletes are twice as likely to get a concussion than male athletes in soccer.
So does that mean we have a higher risk of getting a concussion?
Maybe. Why are people even talking about concussions these days?
Yeah, and why are they starting to change the rules for hitting the ball in soccer?
Maybe we should start looking into concussions.
The definition of concussion is a violent shock as from a heavy blow,
or temporary unconsciousness caused by a blow to the head. The term is also used loosely of the after effects, such as confusion or temporary incapacity.
Dr. Bennet Omalu explored dead people. He was very thorough. He wanted to find out why they had died, and often he would ask the patient to help him figure out what was wrong with them before performing the autopsy.
On September 24, 2002, Dr. Omalu performed the autopsy of Mike Webster, a former Pittsburgh Steeler, and this is what he found.
I was extremely disappointed when I opened up his skull and his brain looked normal. Well, we're looking at region of the brain in a football player about 40 years old. And what you could see are these brownish spots. You could now see it looks ugly.
Omalu named it chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE.
Are we talking like gentle slaps to the head?
Violent slaps that would make your brain move forward and backward, sideways in your skull, causing shearing injuries.
CTE stands for brain disease called chronic traumatic encephalopathy. The symptoms of CTE are memory loss, confusion, impaired judgment, impulse control problems, aggression, depression, and eventually progressive dementia.
Nobody is positive if they have CTE or not. They mainly go by the symptoms. They can only know if the person has CTE by examining their brain after death. Here are some examples of the symptoms.
There's something a lot less sad about a 50-year-old who can't run versus a 50-year-old who can't think.
The things we do to one another, okay, hell, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just tired and confused right now. That's why I say I can't say it the way I want to say it.
Over the past few years, a number of former players have committed suicide after battling depression. Afterwards, they gave their brains to science, and upon examination, they showed telltale signs of CTE. Scientists don't yet have a way of diagnosing CTE for sure besides doing an autopsy. So apart from the 50 deceased former players confirmed to have it, they can only suspect that hundreds more are living with it right now.
978432.
978.
When Dr. Omalu found out the truth about Mike Webster's brain and how repeated concussions led to his death, he wanted to tell the truth. He wanted people to know that a punishing career in NFL can lead to brain damage and death. However, when he tried to tell the NFL, it did not go as planned, and this is what happened.
Dr. Omalu believed the National Football League would want to know about his discovery.
That was what I thought in my naive state of mind. But unfortunately, I was proven wrong. You know, it wasn't meant to be that way.
What were some of the things people called you back then?
You know, that some insinuated I was a voodoo doctor, that I was fraudulent, that I was synthesizing my data and my findings. I actually lost my job. Even officials in the National Institute of Health. I've been told in a meeting, one of the officials of the NIH said that African, I don't trust them.
You think they're still in denial in some ways?
Yeah, to some extent.
Most people did not want the sport to change, so they denied everything to keep the sport the same. Here is an example.
Ira Casson leads a team of NFL doctors who did a study of several hundred active players and reported that the concern over head injuries is overblown. Is there any evidence, as far as you're concerned, that links multiple head injuries among pro football players with depression?
No.
With dementia?
No.
With early onset of Alzheimer's?
No.
Is there any evidence as of today that links multiple head injuries with any long-term problem like that?
In NFL players?
Yeah.
No.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell detailed rules changes and other steps the league has taken to protect players, but he wouldn't acknowledge a link between violent hits and brain diseases.
I just asked you a simple question.
What's the answer?
The answer is the medical experts are no better than I would with respect to that, but we are not treating that in any way and delaying anything that we do.
The study's author also testified the findings don't prove a link between playing football and mental problems later in life.
Most significant contributory factor to CTE is exposure to blunt force trauma of the head.
Is football too dangerous a sport?
All I would say is that there are certain types of sports that are high impact contact sports.
These are the numbers of rule changes from the 1920s to 2014. And these are the reported concussions per season in the NFL from 2004 to 2013.
What's going to kill football if it dies would be parents not letting the next generation of players put on a helmet.
Got to find a way in this game to help eliminate that play right there, and I don't know how you...
Parents are worried about the safety of the sport. A lot of people have come out and said they wouldn't let their kids play football because of the health risks.
In fact, if I had a son, I would be real leery of him playing.
And some state lawmakers have even proposed banning it for kids under 14 entirely.
Would you let your son play football?
Haven't seen what I have seen in the brains of people who played football. I wouldn't let my son play.
Unfortunately, it often takes a lawsuit to make people listen. In 2013, 4,500 former NFL players sued the NFL, winning $765 million, forcing the NFL to drastically change safety procedures to make it safer for the players.
In 2014, FIFA was also sued, claiming 50,000 high school soccer players got concussions in 2010 and demanded limits placed on heading.
In 2015, U.S. Soccer instituted new rules prohibiting heading the ball for kids under age 10 and limiting it for kids aged 11 through 13.
Other pro sports in the U.S. have followed and made clear procedures which must be followed regarding concussions.
We are really glad that the world had Dr. Bennet Omalu, and without him, this world would not know the dangers of multiple concussions. We are very thankful for the sports organizations and that they are trying to make the sport safer. Thank you, Dr. Omalu.